Are you guys inside again for the night? Perfect. Hopefully we'll have a male zucchini flower there by morning. What are you guys hiding back there for? We don't have a lot to do in here. We're heading out in the garden now to put in the carrots. Come on. All right, so we finally got all of our soil sifted, leveled out. Now we're going to get ready and plant some seeds. What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm putting down some holes to put the seeds in, because I like doing it that way. And it makes it a lot easier for me to count my seeds and see how many I've got. You remember when I was doing my onions and I lined them up just so? Well, my carrots go the same way. Just so. I have 2 packs of carrot seeds to sow. And those 2 packs will give me 2,000 carrots. No, I really don't think I'm going to put them all in. Last year we did somewhere around 1,360, I think. And that was more than enough for us and the family. I hear a lot of people say they can't get carrots to grow. Don't know for sure why. When I started growing carrots for the first time a couple of years ago, I looked at a couple of YouTube videos and I followed what they were saying to do. Basically, I've had nothing but success with my carrots. I get a beautiful forest of carrots every year. I think people are planting their carrots, their seeds, and I think they're drying out. Carrots, if they dry out once, they're just not going to take. You will lose them. So what I do is I cover up my carrots with cardboard. And during that first week, I keep the cardboard wet all the time. I've always had good success. We're going to do that again now this year. See how this year's crop turns out. Hello.
Hello.
Now, why don't we start down here where I've already put down the holes, and what do we have here? They're all pelleted. We have some Napoli and Negovia. Okay, let's start down there. Okay, so that is 1,000 Napoli pelleted seeds. The pelleted seeds are always much easier to work with. I don't know how we'd even do this with the regular seeds that weren't pelleted. What do you think? Wouldn't they be fun to work with?
No, they're not.
No, carrot seeds are so small that if they're not pelleted, they are quite hard to work with. Unless you just want to be someone who spreads them out on the ground. And a lot of people will do that, and that works fine. I am very particular with stuff like this, as I was with my onion. And because of that, I'm able to count up the holes here and get a very close idea as to how many carrots I've got in the ground. Oh, the flies are thick here tonight. I think we may need a bit of fly spray here tonight. We already had supper, but I think the flies are just starting theirs. Yeah, time for fly spray. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the pelleted seed, because some seeds are so small, they actually put a small layer of, I think it's a clay around them. And then they'll add something to give them color so they can be easily identified. But this makes them a lot easier to pick up in your fingers and put in the holes and so on. A lot of people can't even see the actual carrot seeds when they're putting them in because they're so small. Another problem that people have when they're sowing carrot seeds is because they're so small and you can't hardly see them, and you're basically dropping them on top of the ground because they do go very shallow. When we get a bit of rain, they all wash away. They pool into, you get little clusters of very dense carrots, and then you'll have areas where there's no carrot at all. I've got these spaced at roughly 1.5 inches. In a lot of cases, that's not hardly enough. We found it to be good. It works for us. And as I've said before, this isn't one of those things where there's a right and a wrong. People do what works for them. That's exactly what we're doing. What works for us. The soil has all been sifted to 1/2 inch. So there shouldn't be any big rocks there. You don't want any rocks in the soil when you're growing carrots, because as soon as a carrot strikes a rock when it's growing, it will turn. And that's what causes your carrots to be every shape possible. We'll get a couple pictures up on the screen there as to some of last year's carrots. You'll see that we end up with a very dense forest of carrots. Normally we get, I'm going to say, very close to 98 to 100% germination rate. Now, because these are spaced at 1.5 inches, they may not get as big as some carrots if they're spaced 2 or 3 inches. Because as the carrot grows, it's pushing the ground away from the space that it's in, and therefore it gets tighter when they're in a more condensed space. We've been doing these videos now for the past few weeks, and it's taking a fair bit of time, both in the filming and in the editing. I'd like to hear from some people out there as to whether or not these are beneficial and whether you like them or not. We're getting a few likes, but it is important for us to see that feedback for the analytics that are in YouTube. So hit the like button, subscribe if you want to keep watching these kind of videos, and if you want to be notified that the new videos are up, then hit the little bell so you'll get a ding each time a new video goes up on this channel. It's always nice to have the holes in the ground beforehand, isn't it?
Yeah, just you know where to lay them.
Gives us some good spacing here. There's no question as to whether they're lined up or how they're going to look afterward. The germination process is going to start on these seeds as soon as they get wet. So once we're done, we're going to do a very gentle mist over all the ground here and get it quite wet. And then we're going to cover it up so it won't dry out. We're going to cover it with cardboard. That cardboard then, we're going to keep that wet. We'll pin it down with a few rocks. And we're going to keep the cardboard wet for the next few days. If the seeds dry out, it's quite likely we'll lose those carrots. So nice in the fall of the year when you start taking up your carrots and you lay them all out, fill up the wheelbarrow with carrots, and you realize that that's what you get back for all the work you've done. We must be up somewhere around 900 or so here now, but look what we've got left. All right, we're going to saturate the ground here now. We want to be very careful that we don't disturb the seeds. We can see them all as they're just sitting on top of the soil. That's fine. We're going to get this nice and wet. The water will start to break down that clay coating on the seed, and then they'll begin to germinate. Just using a gentle spray here to wet everything down, but we want it wet. We want it wet enough that those seeds will start to dissolve the clay coating. If that doesn't dissolve, they're not ready to start germinating. A lot of people seem quite surprised when I tell them that I cover up my seeds with cardboard while they're germinating. And of course, this is only with the carrot seeds. I don't know if maybe some other types of plants it would benefit as well. But like I said earlier, this is what works for us. This has always worked quite well for us. Okay, let's cover those up, and then we'll soak down the cardboard. Just tuck it underneath there, edge of the railing, just like that. And we'll get a couple of rocks and put on these, help hold them down. I'm going to begin to wet that down now. That'll help to keep it in place as well. We're going to keep the hose close by, and each time we see that this is drying, we're going to wet it some more. And this is how we wash our rocks. Good. The onions are looking good. We're going to get those watered again, and we're also going to get some water here on our potatoes. They're doing quite well too. Okay, let's head back over to the greenhouse. Well, that's another good job done. Half of the carrots are in the ground. Still got our fans going in here. The hatches have closed. We are just around 20 degrees there now. That's Celsius. So our peppers are doing quite well. They're really working out well since we made some adjustments here with some of the plants. And we're excited as tomorrow we are hoping that this guy right here is going to be open, because we've already had this zucchini and this zucchini in here. They opened up and we had nothing to pollinate them with. So this male flower here, we're going to use that. Hopefully tomorrow we may get another one over here. We're going to use one of those to pollinate any other females that open. And this one here is not too far. It may be open tomorrow as well. All right, looks like we're done with the growing for tonight. We'll see you all later here in the greenhouse.